Thank you so much for joining me today to learn about a few of our favorite destinations, Croatia, Slovenia, and Montenegro. Today we'll be covering some key destination information for all three countries, as well as a quick overview of how Exeter can assist you in planning the perfect trip to this region. To learn a little more about us, please do watch the Essence of Exeter video, also located on our YouTube channel, for an inside look into the history of our company, how we started, where we are today, and where we are going forward. Croatia, Slovenia, and Montenegro are just one part of our world. As you can see on the map here, we also cover all of the countries of Central and Eastern Europe, Russia, Scandinavia, and Central Asia. So let's kick off with Croatia. Croatia has consistently ranked among our top destinations the last 5-year running, with no signs of slowing down. Croatia really does have something to offer every traveler, from foodie experiences and wine tasting to architecture and history. Even Game of Thrones fans will be entertained for a week exploring filming locations. Despite its small size, Croatia is home to 6 cultural and 1 natural UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The most well-known, of course, are the Old City of Dubrovnik and the Palace of Diocletian in Split. The other sites include the Plitvica Lakes south of Zagreb, the Euphrasian Basilica of Portic, with its 6th century Byzantine mosaics, the great Venetian, Roman, and Greek city of Trogir, the Renaissance Cathedral of St. James in Šibenik, and the Stari Grad Plains in Hvar, which are still in use today after nearly 2,400 years. Of those sites, the Old City of Dubrovnik and the Palace of Diocletian, as well as the Plitvica Lakes, are probably the most well-known and requested by our guests. The region of Dalmatia is where most travelers envision their first trip to Croatia. This region stretches from the island of Rab in the north all the way down to the modern-day Bay of Kotor in Montenegro in the south. Nearly all of its towns and cities hug the coastline or are situated on nearby islands due to the large mountain chain that runs almost directly into the sea. The region has a fascinating history stretching as far back as Roman times through to today. Interestingly, after some time mixing Roman and local elements, the majority of the region fell to the Republic of Venice, who controlled it for nearly 400 years. Only the Republic of Ragusa, also known as the Republic of Dubrovnik, managed to hold its independence. Croatia's modern history has been a bit rocky, from the conquering of the Austrian Empire to the fall of Yugoslavia, before gaining its full independence in 1991. That being said, the majority of the cities remain untouched, continuing to stand the test of time and lure visitors. Dubrovnik is perhaps the best-known city of Croatia and has famously been described by authors such as George Bernard Shaw as paradise on earth and the Pearl of the Adriatic by Lord Byron. In modern pulp culture, Dubrovnik has also doubled as the city of King's Landing in the popular HBO show Game of Thrones. Croatia's second largest city, Split, boasts the spectacular palatial complex of Diocletian, built in the first half of the 4th century AD. The site has been almost continually inhabited since its original construction, creating a spectacular blend of history through the ages. Possibly the most well-known island of the Dalmatian coast is the island of Hvar. Hvar is known for its carpeted lavender fields, and it's a wonderful place for walking and biking excursions. It can easily be reached by ferry and is possible as a day excursion from Split. Should time permit, though, we do encourage guests to spend a night or two enjoying the island lifestyle. We recommend traveling to Hvar in June, as the lavender crop is at its peak, and it's quite simply spectacular. For those with an eye for ancient archaeology, Zadar is a wonderful and easily accessible addition to a Dalmatian itinerary. Originally constructed in the 1st century AD in typical Roman style, the foundations remain visible and are well excavated. Zadar's strong presence during the Middle Ages have also left a number of churches and cathedrals throughout the city, many of which date back to the 9th century AD and are still in use today. The Istria region, situated on the Adriatic's largest peninsula in the north, is a true hidden gem shared by Croatia, Slovenia, and Italy. The region is relatively unknown to the North American market, but it is famous, especially with the neighboring Italians, for its wine and cuisine. The Romans commonly referred to this region as Terra Magica, or the magical land. Truly one of the most untouched regions of Croatia, the Italian influence from the architecture to the food, even today, is breathtaking. The landscape also differs greatly to the rest of Croatia. Full of vineyards, ancient villages, and Venetian history, this distinct identity is not to be missed and really does add an entirely different element to a Croatian itinerary. One of the most popular activities in the region is truffle hunting, which we'll touch on a bit more later. The beautiful city of Rovinj, with its Venetian influences, is also an absolute must. The Istrian Peninsula is perfect for those travelers who have been to Croatia before, would like to spend a little bit longer than an average of 7 to 10 days, or are looking to explore both Croatia and Slovenia. While I already mentioned the popularity of Hvar, Croatia actually has over 1,000 islands scattered along the coastline, and spending time exploring these is often a trip highlight. Interestingly, fewer than 75 of them are inhabited. From exploring hidden beaches of the Ilafite Islands to taking a boat to the beautiful national park on Milet, before heading off to the Pelagos Peninsula to taste its famed oysters, there is an island experience for everyone as well. It's also possible to sail to the island of Korčula, the rumored birthplace of Marco Polo. One of the most popular ways to visit the islands is by hiring a yacht, and while we're often asked for private yacht charters, we do not make these reservations ourselves. That being said, we're happy to recommend a couple of quality companies that can arrange yachts for hire. In general, the minimum rental period is 7 days, and for those travelers who do opt for a yacht charter, we can certainly assist with touring in each town along the way. For those staying on the mainland, we can certainly assist with boats and day charters for day trips off the mainland to the various islands, as well as speedboat transfers for an alternative to a sleep aboard yacht experience. One of the hallmarks of every Exeter itinerary are our extraordinary experiences. We are continuously working to develop new and unique experiences to offer you in each of our destinations. Our extraordinary experiences in Croatia are not something you'll find online nor be able to replicate. One of our favorites, which we incorporate for guests on their drive from Dubrovnik to Split, is an oyster experience. Guests enjoy a private boat ride past hundreds of oyster banks in a bay just outside the town of Ston. They end up on a small private island where they enjoy learning about how mussels and oysters are cultivated before getting to sample some of each for lunch. It's a very private and intimate experience, and even for those who do not enjoy eating mussels or oysters, it's both educational and fascinating to learn about the lengthy and delicate process of harvesting both. Up in Istria, we have a wonderful wine tasting experience which allows guests to sample a range of local varieties, many of which are not exported and are unique to the peninsula. Also in Istria, as I mentioned earlier, we have a terrific truffle hunting experience led by a local expert and his wonderful dogs. In the past, truffle hunters actually used pigs to assist them, but today most are using dogs. In addition to food and wine experiences, we have several that explore the Brioni archipelago by private boat. My personal favorite extraordinary experience in Istria is our fresco painting demonstration. You'll be taken on a short tour of the oldest churches in town, dating back to the 11th century, before being taken to our fresco teacher's workshop. He'll guide you through a short history of fresco painting before letting you create your own masterpiece using traditional techniques. We have many more extraordinary experiences throughout the region, but these are just a few of our personal favorites. I wanted to quickly mention a few of our favorite hotels in Croatia. Villa Dubrovnik is probably the most well-known hotel in the country, and for good reason. This one almost speaks for itself as one of the most luxurious options available. We have great contracts with other boutique properties throughout the region, and many are a little bit more off the beaten path, offering you a wide variety of options to choose from. One of our favorite hotels in Split is the Park Hotel. They just opened in 2015 and have received overwhelmingly spectacular feedback. Nestled just a short 15-minute walk from the city center of Split, the rooms are spacious, luxurious, and many have sea views. They also have on-site parking available, which is convenient for those guests who are on a self-drive program stopping in Split. Our favorite hotel in the Istria region is the Montemelini in Rovinj, and it's arguably one of the best hotels in the whole of Croatia. Boasting only 97 rooms, it sits right on the ocean and is a short 15-minute walk into town. The sunsets are spectacular and the service is really unbeatable. We're tremendously excited to announce that the Hotel Excelsior in Dubrovnik has also just finished a total renovation. With only 160 rooms, the Excelsior is a great combination of personalized service and attention that one would expect from a small boutique hotel with the amenities found in larger hotels. The hotel is a great alternative to Villa Dubrovnik and at a slightly lower price point. You can rest assured that when booking your hotels through Exeter, you'll receive VIP treatment at all of our partner hotels. To see all of our partner hotels in Croatia, please visit our website, www.exeterinternational.com, and select Croatia from the Destinations tab at the top. You'll see a View Hotels button on the left side of the screen. Our guests frequently combine Croatia with a trip to Montenegro. It's an easy hour-and-a-half drive from Dubrovnik, and many guests go to Kotor in the surrounding area as a day trip from Dubrovnik. Montenegro has one of the most beautiful and unique properties in the entire region, the Aman Sveti Stefan. We strongly encourage guests who are not pressed for time to spend 2 or 3 nights at the end of their trip at the Aman to decompress and relax from their extensive touring. For those who are a tad more pressed for time, the highlights of Montenegro can be visited as a day excursion from Dubrovnik. It's a long day, but it can be done. And Montenegro also boasts a number of delicious wineries and traditional olive oil farms, both of which can be arranged as part of a day trip excursion or from your accommodation in Montenegro. The Bay of Kotor itself is one of the deepest natural bays in the world, and as a result, large cruise ships are able to easily cruise into the bay and dock at the very small UNESCO town of Kotor. As you can imagine, even having one mid-sized ship descending on the old town of Kotor with its population of less than 1,000 people can be overwhelming, to say the least. We try our best to check which ships and the number of ships that are in port on a proposed day of touring so that we can schedule touring accordingly to minimize the impact on our travelers. The UNESCO town of Kotor itself is surrounded by fortification walls dating back from the 12th to 14th centuries. The old town was badly damaged during an earthquake in 1979, but has been meticulously restored to its former glory. For those who are up for it, we encourage climbing up the city walls for a beautiful view of the town and the bay. While there are a few locations where we offer extraordinary experiences with olive oil tastings in Croatia, my personal favorite is actually en route back to Dubrovnik from Kotor on the Montenegro side. The Moric Olive Grove is a family-owned and operated estate and an area renowned for the quality and complexity of its olive oils. The estate is a testament to the family's dedication to crafting the finest specialty food items and preserving traditional methods. All of the olives are organically and sustainably farmed and hand-harvested. Perhaps most interestingly, the Moric family also has one of the oldest working olive oil presses in the whole of Europe. And while they've updated their technology to include the latest methods of pressing, they still keep this one operational. It's been in their family for 7 generations. You'll also have a chance to get to know the Moric family over a typical Montenegro meal. In Montenegro, the 2 best hotels are the Aman Sveti Stefan, as I mentioned, and the Regent Porto Montenegro. They're both fabulous in different ways. The Aman is spectacular. It's truly a one-of-a-kind hotel, but it does open in mid-May and closes for the season at the end of September, giving a shorter window for you to visit and experience this property. The Aman Sveti Stefan was once a historical fishing village that was converted back to a hotel in the 1960s. Aman took over the island about 10 years ago, refreshed the interior of the hotel while keeping the charm of the exterior, and a traditional feel of the fishing village remains intact. Unlike most hotels, each and every room is different, even within the same category. If you are interested in visiting, we strongly encourage you to have a quick discussion with us to discuss each of the rooms and what your specific preferences and requirements are so that we get you in the best room for you. The Regent Porto Montenegro is situated on a beautiful marina and is more of a traditional hotel compared to the Aman. It's also open all year round, and it comes at a much lower price point than the Aman. It's very well positioned for touring and very beautifully appointed. Slovenia is a small but picturesque alpine country with a tiny bit of coast along the Adriatic Sea. Slovenia is also a very easy combination with Croatia, particularly with a Northern Croatia program. Crossing the border between the two is very easy and straightforward. The capital city of Ljubljana is adorable and has a very romantic Art Nouveau ambiance to it. The city has a large river running right through the middle and is lined with beautiful large willow trees and small bridges. There's an abundance of delicious restaurants serving local food everywhere. While Ljubljana has an airport, it's often more convenient from a logistical perspective to fly into Zagreb. Ljubljana is an excellent stopover on the way to Bled and Bohinj, the beautiful lake district at the foot of the Julian Alps. Lake Bled is quite enchanting in and of itself, with a beautiful church and monastery located on the only island in the whole lake. It makes for a perfect base to explore both Ljubljana and the surrounding area. The region just south of the capital, Ljubljana, called Dolinska, meaning lowlands, is definitely worth exploring too. Among the top attractions in the country is the Postojna Cave, one of the largest cave systems in Europe, and the only cave in the world featuring a tourist train that actually allows visitors to discover the underground world. Also a short drive from Ljubljana is the Mokšica Castle, an impressive medieval structure overlooking the gentle slopes of the Gorian Key Hills. It was once the home of noble families and a key defense point against the invading Ottomans. You can take a walk under the century-old sequoias in the English Park and sample some fine local wines and dishes in the castle's cellar and restaurant. I'd like to quickly mention a couple of our favorite hotels in Slovenia. In Ljubljana, we like the boutique and centrally located Vanda Urbani Resort. This 20-room property is located right on the river and has a great rooftop terrace. We actually do recommend guests spend a night or two out near Lake Bled. The Tito-era Villa Bled is a bit like stepping back in time to a communist vision of a chic hotel. However, its setting and atmosphere make it the perfect choice for the region. If you prefer more modern amenities like air conditioning, the Grand Hotel Toplica offers all of this along with an enviable lakeside location. From Bled as a base, you can easily do a day trip to Ljubljana, explore the Julian Alps, or just relax in the beautiful lake setting. So how can Exeter help you travel to Croatia, Slovenia, and Montenegro? Well, we have several different options depending on your taste, pace, and budget. Our Essential Exeter programs are a great place to start. These sample programs are really just the tip of the iceberg to get you thinking about what's important for you on your trip and what's most interesting. Our Essential Croatia and Croatia Slovenia itineraries are fully immersive and include extensive private touring and several of our extraordinary experiences we talked about today. Of course, they're 100% customizable and tailored to your preferences. We do have these samples available on our website, which you can access there and also download as a PDF. We're often asked how long one should spend in Croatia. Well, if you're looking to explore all of the regions that we discussed today, you'll need about 2 weeks total. Alternatively, you could easily spend a week to 10 days exploring either Dalmatia, including Montenegro, or northern Croatia and Slovenia. For a first-timers trip with limited time, the Dalmatian coast is usually the more popular choice of the two. For our Simply Exeter programs, we have Simply Dubrovnik, Split, Zagreb, and Ljubljana. These programs are a little bit more budget conscious, the variable being a 4- or 5-star hotel option. They're a little bit more prepackaged and also modular, so they link together quite easily. As with all of our Simply Exeter programs, these include 3 nights hotel accommodation, a half-day overview and sightseeing tour of the city, all transfers, as well as our 24-hour Exeter assistance on the ground. We can, of course, add in additional touring if you'd like a more in-depth look along the way. We often see guests combine Simply Dubrovnik and Simply Split with a day tour to Montenegro in the middle. These are also a great option to keep in mind if you're considering a pre- or post-cruise package through one of the cruise lines as a private alternative. Another great option to explore the region is with our White Glove Self-Drive program. While it's not a new program for us, we are certainly seeing an overwhelming demand for our White Glove Self-Drive programs, almost doubling in popularity every year. We like to describe them as a full Essential Exeter itinerary with hotels pre-reserved, guiding pre-planned throughout, dinner and theater reservations made, transfers scheduled on an as-needed basis, everything you would expect from a full-service itinerary, except that you're doing the driving. Once we've ironed out your specific itinerary and route, we'll send you a pre-programmed Garmin GPS system ahead of your departure from the US. That way you have plenty of time to play with it, ask us any questions, and familiarize yourself before departing on your trip. We've tried and tested all of the driving, so we know that the GPS systems work, the roads are easily navigable, and are also of good quality. We do have a lovely Croatia and Slovenia sample self-drive program available on our website. We've also seen a huge rise in the number of guests asking for private shore excursions off some, if not all, of the ports of call along their cruise. We are also pleased to offer private shore excursion options in all of the ports along the Adriatic. Many of the ports of call in this region are small and often very congested with cruise ships. We do try our utmost to coordinate with the ship's excursions to tour in an opposite pattern as much as possible to avoid the crowds. The majority of cruise ships visit the Dalmatian coast between July and August, and so we strongly suggest guests considering an overland program to come in either May, June, or September when the crowds are slightly less. For those guests who enjoy the ease of cruising but would like to see a bit more of Croatia than just 1 or 2 ports, some of the smaller ships we recommend, like Sea Dream, Windstar, and the Crystal Esprit yacht, offer great Croatia-intensive itineraries. The Crystal Esprit yacht will be coming back to the Adriatic this summer, which we're very happy to see. If you have any questions about these cruises, please don't hesitate to ask. I wanted to take a quick moment to introduce you to our wonderful managers who would be delighted to assist you in planning your perfect trip to this region. Our wonderful team, Lori, Lee, and Sylvia, head up our Croatia, Slovenia, and Montenegro team. All travel regularly throughout our regions in order to bring you the most up-to-date local knowledge. The 3 of them were actually just there not too long ago, interviewing some new guides, testing out some new restaurants and experiences, and of course, checking out the new hotels. These ladies really do know it all. Thank you so much for listening today to learn a little bit more about this wonderful corner of our world. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us if we can help you plan your own trip to Croatia, Slovenia, and Montenegro. Our phone number is 800-633-1008, and our email address is info@exeterinternational.com.